let's talk about the QSC Touchmix-8. So I will do a kind of preliminary thoughts review on the mixer as a whole, but I just wanted to point out one issue that I seem to have come across, and I'm just curious if anybody else out there that has one of these has run into this. So you'll see I'm a big fan of a mono delay that I can tap in, and you'll see here I've got the LED flashing. But if I go to menu and I go to user buttons, and you look here, user button 4, user button 4, to make sure I actually have it selected. I've got user button 4 set to tap tempo, mono delay, vocal delay. Well, why is user button 3 flashing? So say I clear this out, reset it, user button 3 stops flashing. I go to user button 3, tap tempo, mono delay, my vocal delay, assign. Well, now user 4 is flashing even though I just programmed user 3. So that confuses me a little bit. So I'm just going to go back in here and I'm just going to reassign it back to how I had it. Mono delay, user 4, assign. And I actually tried that same thing with user 1 and 2. And if I assign the tap to user 1, user 2 flashes. If I assign it to user 2, user 1 flashes. Really odd. You know, I'm not sure if that is something hardwired wrong in mine. Is it a firmware issue? That's the the big question that I have with the Touchmix at this point. And I'm going to show you one other thing. I've just got to connect to the tablet here. I know I probably could have had this connected already and ready to go, but when I connect to the tablet and use the iPad app, I thought, well, let me see what that shows inside here. So I'm just going to throw this down on top here. Now in the iPad, I don't know if you can see on the screen here, but user button 2 on the tablet is the one that says tap tempo FX2 mono. And you go in here and you go to user buttons and you can see user 1 is nav left, user 2 is copy. Like, this is all the default. I haven't changed any of these yet. And user 4 is the mono delay. Well, why now on the tablet is user button 2 the tap delay? User 4 is right here. That's the one I have programmed, and it says clear queue. So I'm just curious, is anybody else running into this? And here's the other interesting thing. So I'm gonna tap in on user 4 really slow. You can see the light follows it. I mean, that does follow it as well. Okay, but if I hit user 3, so that user 3 is flashing on here, and that just says paste not available. So the light, so user 3 on here will not tap it in. User 4 is the tap. But why is user 3 flashing? And then on here, why is user 2 the tap? It confuses me. Like, with the user buttons, nothing seems to match up. On here it's user 2, on here user 3 is the flash one, but user 4 is the one I actually have it programmed to. If anybody else out there has this issue, let me know. If it's a known firmware issue, let me know. If my mixer is just messed up and nobody else does this, let me know. Keep an eye out for my full review. Just outside of this, I do recommend this mixer, so I just want to get that out there. I just wanted to point this out, and I'm just trying to figure out, is it a firmware issue? Yes or no. But anyways, until next time, have a good day. Okay, I'm back. After I recorded that video, I thought, well, maybe I should call QSC tech support and see what they have to say. And I'm not a huge fan of calling tech support because you always get like these, level 1 tech support guys that usually, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but they typically know less than I do because they're reading off a script. And, it's par for the course. He had me reset the mixer. He had me assign different features to the different user buttons, all of which worked. The issue wasn't that user button 4 tap tempo not working. That wasn't the issue. The issue is that you assign tap tempo to user 4 and user button 3 flashes. User button 4 should be the one that's flashing, and also it doesn't line up on the tablet. His solution, he said, so the issue is with the tap tempo. Well, I just recommend that you don't assign a tap tempo to a user button. Problem solved! I mean, gosh, what was I thinking? Having tap tempo readily available without having to go into the effect to actually hit the tap button? Crazy thinking. I mean, why even have user buttons? I recommend not using tap tempo on a user button. Why? Because you don't like to have tap tempo readily available? I mean, anybody that runs sound usually taps the delay in for every song. I'm not going to go into a menu into the effect and have it right there. I mean, I suppose I could maybe program a user button to bring up that effect so I can tap it in on the screen, and instead of having one button programmed like it's supposed to, I mean, it's usable the way it is. But, is that a solution? I just recommend not assigning tap tempo to one of your user buttons. Well, then what good are they? Why is it even an option? Delete it off the firmware. Anyways, I just had to follow up, tack this on the end of the video. I would assume everybody else is probably going to have that same issue. But I'm still interested. Throw it down in the comments section. QSC, what are we on? Firmware version 3? Get it together. Fix the user button. Alright, see you later.